decide what the life is that you want to have for yourself and go and get that in passive income. Because then it doesn't matter if whoever your boss is, it doesn't matter about coronavirus, none of that matters if you know you're bringing in this amount of cash flow on a monthly, yearly basis. It's a feeling that I wish everybody could experience.
Welcome to Coach Carson TV. My name is Chad Carson. You can also call me Coach, and this is a channel all about investing in real estate, achieving financial independence, and doing more of what matters. You're about to see an interview with Devon, Kennard, who is an NFL athlete who used real estate investing to create a passive cash flow of $300,000 per year. So we get into his story behind the scenes, some things you might find interesting about NFL athletes and some of the ways they have to learn how to invest their money really quickly, but also a lot of lessons that are applicable to all of us about when you're busy and you've got to learn how to do things on the side while you have a full-time profession. How do you know who to trust? How do you know what types of investments to make? And much, much more. So I think you're going to enjoy this interview. If you like these types of interview, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you don't miss anything. Hit the like button to help us spread the word with others, and then enjoy the interview. So you're focused on cash flow, and you know, it sounds like you really knew yourself well. Like you're aware that, hey, you know, I know my time limit. I'm an NFL player. I got a lot of commitments. I've got some capital now. And so like going with more of a debt-free strategy, turnkey, third-party management, like that just fit your profile. Like you knew yourself well. It's kind of like in football too. Like you got to know your game. You know, if you're a speed rusher and you got quickness, you got to go with those moves. If you're a power guy, you got to go with that. I mean, so you knew yourself, you learned, you compounded your knowledge, and here you are now. You fast forward, you've got several properties and they're cash flowing, and my phone broke up a little bit on that last point. But did you start looking into some of these other avenues, like some of the limited partnerships and some of the other kind of diversification within real estate? Or how did you kind of take that transition from these turnkey properties where you own them directly to some of these other different avenues?
Yeah, so, alongside that was kind of my personal investment journey with just doing my own portfolio. But while that was going on, as soon as I got in the league, I got lucky. I don't know if you guys will remember Peyton Hillis. He was a running back. He was on the cover of Madden when he was with the Browns at one point. He played with me in New York, and he connected me with one of his financial advisors. I always thought he was a pretty bright guy. And the financial advisor, once again, you get proposed with all these investments all the time. So I was very weary, but I liked the guys, got to know them, and they specialize in finding great private equity deals, essentially, mostly real estate backed. They showed me, what they do, how they do with the different funds that they found. And I just did my first investment with them. They found a private equity deal, and I became a limited partner in essentially like a funding deal where, say you own a huge 100 unit building and you needed the financing, but you needed it quickly. You come to this fund, get the cash, and they charge you a really high, percentage, and you pay that. Otherwise, they take over the property. So that was one of the first limited partner deals I got into, and till this day, it's been giving me off dividends 9, 10, 11% at least yearly. And from there, I built trust with them, started understanding the process more, and now I'm in over 21 syndications essentially, and a limited partner in these deals where I essentially invest in. I'm the cash. I come in, I put cash in, and it's very particular with different funds and people who have expertise, anywhere from apartment complexes to senior living centers, hotels, all kinds of different lanes. And I think that's a good way to diversify for me, because it's like, all right, I'm not betting on just one person. It's all these different people who specialize in these different sectors of real estate, and I'm investing alongside of them, and I'm getting dividends, which is helping my cash flow that I talked about. And I also get to participate in, the closing if and when they sell the property and all of that. So that's been a huge part of my strategy, because, when you have cash, the big thing you're looking for is, I wanted to keep it safe, but I want to create cash flow. My big thing was, that's where I feel like a lot of professional athletes and high net worth earners mess up, is you make all this money but you don't have any cash flow coming in. So if you're done playing, now you're spending your principal. I'm like, what is the baseline lifestyle that I want for myself? And, like in your book, you talk about it, financial independence. Like, what is that number for me? What is the lifestyle I want for myself and my family? And I need to go and get that with the cash that I have. So it's bringing in that cash flow. So that's why I do the limited partnerships and the cash flow investing through turnkey properties, because it's established for me that consistent cash flow that now I know I could stop playing football tomorrow and my lifestyle doesn't have to change.
So that I think you called it, I read the article where they interviewed you in Forbes, you called it mailbox money, which I love that term. Like there's so many athletes, and this is not just athletes too. This is a lot of people in the financial independence movement. And there's kind of little fun debate that goes on about, hey, I want to own assets that grow. And I love stock investing too. Like I'm an index fund investor, but I'm a big cash flow guy as well, because just like you said, at some point, if you want to turn that salary off, whether it's NFL salary, engineering salary, nurse, janitor, whatever whatever it is, you got to replace that income, and you got to have that mailbox money. You got to have that consistent income, particularly psychologically for me. I don't know about you too, but if I'm having to eat into my principal, psychologically, that is a difficult thing when you're 29, you're 35, you're 40. I mean, you got a lot of years to go. And if I'm having to eat into a little bit of principal here, sell off some stocks, do that kind of stuff. Yeah, maybe the numbers work. Maybe the analysis should work, but I would much rather live off that passive income, like you talked about earlier, live off that mailbox money, never touch the principal, and then keep going. I mean, is that kind of what your mentality was as well?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much been my strategy from jump. Is once I knew that I've made enough and I'm making enough to where, all right, if I invest it wisely, I'll be able to create cash flow for myself. It was like bare minimum, what's going to be, how much do I need to pay my mandatory bills? And then I hit that and I'm like, all right, what's the lifestyle I want? I need to know how much money my family and I need for our lifestyle to stay the exact same from today till forever. And I found that number, and, I can say now this year, this is the first year I've hit it, and I plan on hitting it consecutively now. So now my goals can become bigger, because it's a sigh of relief. I know my lifestyle doesn't have to change anymore. So now it frees my mind and my goals to where, all right, what do I want to do next? Both on the field and off. And that's a relieving feeling. And I wish more people, especially athletes and the people I'm around, would take that perspective. Minimize your expenses, but decide what the life is that you want to have for yourself, and go and get that in passive income. Because then it doesn't matter if whoever your boss is, it doesn't matter about coronavirus. None of that matters if you're bringing in this amount of cash flow on a monthly, yearly basis. It's a feeling that I wish everybody could experience.
Hey, if you like that video with Devon Kennard, I think you'll like my next video, which is about how many rentals do you need to retire. I go step by step through the math, and the whole goal is to help you figure out what your personal portfolio number is so that you can eventually have passive income for rental properties. So be sure to check that video out, and thanks for watching Coach Carson TV.